Hello everybody, Kathy here. Today I wanted to chat with you about how I build a freedom-focused life and how you can do it too. A couple of years ago, I felt super stuck in a system, stuck in expectations, stuck in a reality that I didn't really like, stuck in a job that I didn't really like. And today I am living a great life, a life that really aligns with my highest values and that just simply feels really good. I can work from anywhere. I've built an amazing online business. I've had incredible clients and incredible global clientele from everywhere. I've designed systems that really support me, and more than anything, I've built a life that is truly in alignment with what I want. So let me take you behind the scenes a little bit, and I've broken it down in kind of 5 steps of how you can build this kind of freedom-focused life too. So step 1 is really redefining what success looks like to you and what it actually means. For a long time, I thought success was a great job title. I used to be a lawyer, and I was told that becoming a lawyer would mean that I would be a very successful person. I also thought that having a mortgage meant success. I thought that having a great pension meant the overall success because it means that you'll get to really enjoy a good retirement. And that's not what I define as success anymore. I really had to stop at some point in my life and reflect on whose term of success am I actually living by. What I realized is that I had to really become aware of what my highest values were and what success looks like to me. I had to start asking the deeper questions. What actually feels good versus what actually looks good from the outside, and let go of everything that I had learned so far. It's not an easy task to do, but I think that a lot of people, especially if you're watching this video, come to that point in their life where they're like, oh, hang on a minute, what is it that I actually want, and what does success look like to me? And for me, it was all focused around freedom. Having freedom of time, location freedom, and financial freedom. Those were like the top ones for me. At that time, I really wanted to as well travel as much as possible, have adventure in my life, and just have this overall sense of I can really do on a daily basis whatever it is that I want to do with my day without feeling restricted and without feeling like I have to live in someone else's ideal life, whatever that means. Now, in step 2, I had to come to terms with being okay with reinventing myself. And that will apply to you as well. I have a lot of people in my inbox, who ask me nowadays, like, how did you become a digital nomad? How did you go from being a lawyer to now having an online business? How does that work? And a lot of times I have to just simply tell people that you gotta be okay with letting go of who you were before, and you have to be okay with also potentially reinventing yourself. If whatever skill, expertise you had in the past does no longer translate to bringing it online, maybe you got to be okay with completely reinventing yourself. And I've been in such a great position now with my clients that I've seen doctors become nutritionists. I've seen doctors become online yoga YouTubers. Like, you have to be okay with letting go of what you were previously and allow yourself to actually reinvent yourself. Whether it will be in career that you're in, the industry that you're in. So really let that pressure go from you and be okay with redefining and reinventing yourself to then make space and room for something new, whether it is a business venture, whether it is a business opportunity that presents itself, whether it is a new sort of freelancing, contracting style, whatever it is that lands in your lap, whatever it is that you go and seek out. With that as well comes step number 3, which is get really good at stepping out of your comfort zone. Because at the end of the day, you won't necessarily find your new ideal dream life in your comfort zone. If you had, then you wouldn't be watching this video, and you would have already found, true fulfillment and true happiness wherever you were in your previous life, so to speak. But if you're looking for something else and something new, then you gotta be okay with stepping out of your comfort zone. This might potentially involve, having to relocate elsewhere, having to put yourself in a new environment where you're meeting new people, where you're meeting other like-minded individuals that are potentially already living this kind of lifestyle. I highly recommend this, and this was actually what catapulted myself into this new lifestyle, was visiting new places where I could see people working on their laptops from wherever. And when I saw this for the first time, I know now it sounds ridiculous, but 6 years ago, it was a novelty to see people working from their laptops anywhere, from a beach, from a remote beach. But yeah, back then I was like, oh my God, this is possible. And considering that I was doing all of my work from a computer at an office where I didn't get much fresh air because I spent, 8 hours plus inside of the office, I was like, even the thought of being able to do my job from a beach with sandy toes, that seemed incredible to me. So sometimes you gotta put yourself into different environments to then realize, okay, another reality is actually possible, and that might also be something that will catapult you out of your comfort zone, and you gotta be ready to step out of your comfort zone if you wanna change your reality, somewhere where there's no necessarily safety net to catch you, and also surround yourself, as I said, by new people, new places that inspire you to actually live this new reality that you're trying to create. When it comes to step 4 is to really design your lifestyle intentionally. And what I mean by that, it's kind of going a little bit back to step 1, where I said that you gotta redefine what success means to you. You gotta get really clear on what your values are. And with that as well, you gotta be intentional about what your preferred lifestyle looks like, and also get really good at saying no. Because when you live a different lifestyle, when you open up yourself to new opportunities, when you step out of your comfort zone, you will attract potentially a lot of new opportunities. A lot of new opportunities might fall into your laps. Somebody might offer you a contract for a specific plan, for a specific job, for a specific role. And this is where you need to be super intentional and realize, okay, does this actually align with the values that I hold dear to my heart and that would fulfill and categorize as my dream life or dream job? And if it doesn't, then you also need to be clear enough to be able to say no without, feeling too remorseful about it, because all the no's also will lead to new opportunities. If you close one door, another door will then open as well. So don't get too caught up with, having to say yes to everything, especially when you're like at the beginning stages of opening yourself up to this new lifestyle. Be really clear and intentional of what your dream lifestyle looks like. For me personally, this is also something that relates to business a lot, because at one point in time, I had to also decide what sort of business style works best for me. I could have gone down the route of building up this big agency for my business, and I decided early on, you know what? That doesn't sound like my dream life, to have to micromanage a lot of employees, to then have to have super high overheads, having to cover all of the salaries, having to then also take on all possible clients, even clients that don't really align with me, just to be able to, cover the business expenses and keep the business afloat. That didn't seem to me like what I wanted to create and how my dream lifestyle would look like. For me, again, it was all centered around having a lot of time freedom, having a lot of location freedom, to be able to travel whenever I wanted to be able to explore new places whenever I wanted to. And for me personally, that agency business model just simply didn't seem appealing, even though I had a lot of different offers, also from other potential business partners and whatnot, to go into that direction. So that step 4 is super important, to really design your lifestyle intentionally and to be able to say no when things just maybe might look shiny from the outside but don't actually fully align with your values. And step number 5 is to really start surrounding yourself with the people who get it. Community is a super important aspect, especially when you're creating this freedom lifestyle where you can be at anywhere in the world at any point in time, and where you can, roam around and discover this beautiful planet at all times. But it also becomes important to be surrounded by people who just simply get it, by people who you won't feel constant judgment from, people who also might be living a similar lifestyle to you, who might have already gone through the process of this lifestyle that you're living, who might have recommendations to you, and that to be also immersed into conversations that will expand your horizons and what is possible with this dream life that you're creating. So your environment really matters, and being surrounded by people that get you on this journey also really matter. So don't forget that alone it's not going to be too much fun. Obviously you will feel fulfilled, but it's going to be so good as well if you can share a lot of the experiences with other people and being surrounded by other people. So this life didn't happen by accident to me. I really had to take a lot of action to make it work, and a lot of self-reflection, a lot of time deciding on what it is that I really wanted to have and what it is that didn't align at all with what I wanted to have, short-term and long-term, of course, as well. And I hope this has inspired you in some kind of way to also take action and to start reflecting. And this is something, if you don't have the opportunity right now to relocate somewhere else, to put yourself out of a comfort zone, then the self-reflection bit is something that you can start anywhere, wherever you are, even if you are right now at a 9-to-5 job. It's something that you can sit down and journal about wherever you are, in whatever circumstances you are. So start thinking about these things if you really desire to live a similar kind of freedom lifestyle, and would love to hear back from you which step really resonated with you. And I'll see you in the next video.